Hey friend, welcome back to The Gentle Reset, your no judgment zone for creating a home that actually works for you. I'm Allison, ADHD, home and systems coach, former occupational therapist, and mom of two, and I'm so glad you're here. Today is a special one because we are celebrating 1 full year of this podcast, and we're kicking off season 5. I can't believe it. So today's episode is a little different. We're stepping out of our usual weekly 3 format, and I'm just going to talk to you about how this all started, what I've learned this year, and what's ahead as we head into a new season, both for the podcast and for me personally. So grab your coffee or your water bottle you keep forgetting to drink, and let's just chat. And hey, real quick, if this podcast has been helpful to you this year, the best gift you can give for our anniversary is to share it with a friend who needs it. That's how more ADHD women find this kind of support. Thank you. So let me take you back to the beginning. I honestly didn't have plans to start a podcast. A few friends and a former client kept telling me I should, and at first I was like, nah, that's not for me. But then I kept getting invited onto other people's podcasts to be a guest, and every time I did, I realized how much I loved it. I loved talking about the work I do and how I help my clients. There was something about actually saying it out loud that made it click in a way a social media post never quite did. So eventually I thought, well, why not? Let's give it a try and see how it goes. And here we are 1 year later. I worked with 2 podcast coaches to get this off the ground, Andy Smiley and Allison Nitch. I'll link their podcasts in the show notes. And I'm so grateful to both of them for helping me actually start instead of just thinking about it. The show has evolved a little over this year, but the heart of it has stayed exactly the same. That weekly 3, a mind hack, a home hack, and a highlight has carried us through this whole first year. Because what I really wanted was a way to share what I do that felt more real. Not just tips floating by on a feed, but actual conversations. A way to build a relationship with you and to give you small, doable things to help in your home, even if you never hire me. And that's always been the goal, and it still is. So a year in, I've learned a few things I want to share with you. The first one is about business and about life too. Everything has ebbs and flows. There are seasons of growth, seasons of creation, and seasons where things feel slower or harder. And none of that means anything's wrong. They're just seasons, which, if you've been listening for a while, you know it's a big piece of what I teach here. The second is something that genuinely surprised me. How much more free time I have when I batch my content. Allison, one of my coaches, taught me this. Instead of scrambling to create something new every single week, I sit down and create a month of episodes at once. And it has been a game changer for my time and my mental load. It's the same thing I teach you about your home. A few good systems give you so much more breathing room. And here's a little behind the scenes thing you may not know. This podcast is actually where almost all of my content starts. My emails, my social posts, all of it tends to begin right here with these conversations. So this show really is the heart of everything I do. And the last thing I've learned is a little bit more personal. This year taught me to trust myself, to trust my gut, to do the hard things that make you a little braver and a little stronger. My word for this year has been open. Open to opportunities, open to change, open to whatever's coming next. And that word has carried me in ways I didn't expect when I chose it. I want to take a second to say thank you. This podcast is still growing, which honestly amazes me. And I just have to share a few things that makes my heart so full and excited. We have over 1,000 engaged listeners. Let that sink in for a second. That's over 1,000 women in their real homes, showing up, looking for a little support, and it's not just a number to me. Each of you means so much to me. We've got listeners all over. Our top 5 cities right now are New York, Los Angeles, Seattle, Chicago, and Atlanta. Shout out to you if you're listening from these cities. Thank you for being here. And we have listeners not just across the US, but in Canada, Australia, the UK, and Germany too. I've even had a client all the way in Israel. Women all over the world finding this little show and this work, and I'm so grateful. I also have a few reviews I want to read because they genuinely made my week when they came in. One listener said, Allison's podcast is so helpful. I love that it's short enough to listen to while I'm doing PM tasks to help me stay focused and motivated. I have implemented so many of her tips and tricks to help me manage and enjoy my home. Another called the show a breath of fresh air and said, I love the practical, doable tips that Allison delivers without judgment, but with plenty of empathy and encouragement. And one more simply said, I am enjoying the briefness of the podcast, the tips, and encouragement. If you've ever left a review like these, thank you so much. It means more than you know. And if the show has helped you and you haven't left a review yet, it's the easiest free way to support what I'm doing here. I'd love to hear from you and how this podcast has helped you. I also want to point you to our most played episode of the whole year. It's actually episode 1, How I Went from Drowning in Clutter to Coaching ADHD Women. That feels really fitting to share for an anniversary episode. I think it stayed our most popular because it's where my whole story starts. How I went from overwhelmed in my own home to doing this work I love. And I think a lot of you see yourself in that beginning. So if you've never gone back to that first episode, this is your sign. I'll link it in the show notes for you. So let's talk about what's coming. Season 5 is officially here, and we're not done with summer yet. We've got more summer content coming, including vacation prep and getting your home ready for that midsummer reset. And then we'll ease into back to school as the summer winds down. So if your home tends to fall apart this time of year, stick around and hit follow now. There's a lot more coming to support you. And on a personal note, I'm heading into a new season too. There are some changes ahead for me and my family this year. Nothing I need to get into today, but I wanted to share it with you because you've been along for this whole journey. And I like to keep it real with you. I'm meeting all of it with that one word, open. Open to this new chapter, open to growth, and open to what's next. And I want to be super clear, the podcast isn't going anywhere. This show has become something I love so much, and I'm excited to keep showing up here with you in season 5 and beyond. Things in my life might look a little different behind the scenes, but my heart for this work and for you hasn't changed at all. So that's our little anniversary chat. Thank you for being here this past year, for listening, for sharing, for showing up for yourself and your home in small ways every week. It means so much to me. If you've loved this podcast this year, share it with a friend who needs it too. And that's the best way to celebrate 1 year with me. Remember, one small shift at a time creates momentum. You're doing better than you think, and I'm so proud of you. Here's to 1 year and everything ahead. See you next week on The Gentle Reset.